Have you ever imagined stepping into a tranquil English countryside where ancient trees cast gentle shadows over rolling hills and every nook seems touched by history? Today, I invite you to explore the private world of Dame Maggie Smith's quiet English estate, a place that reflects both her distinguished career and her personal longing for peace away from the spotlight. As we wander through this hidden sanctuary, you may find yourself picturing the beloved Dowager Countess from Downton Abbey strolling along a flower-lined path, or perhaps Professor Minerva McGonagall enjoying an afternoon tea in a cozy sitting room. This estate, however, is no film set. It's the real-life refuge of one of Britain's most esteemed actresses. Nestled in a rural pocket of the English countryside, exactly where is a secret carefully guarded to preserve Maggie's privacy, this property exudes the charm of centuries-old history, coupled with modern comforts discreetly woven throughout. A long gravel driveway winds up to a modest yet stately manor house, constructed of weathered stone. Lush ivy climbs its walls, and the front door is flanked by trimmed hedges that create a storybook frame for your arrival. It's not the imposing grandeur of a palace, but rather the welcoming embrace of a home shaped by generations past. Stepping into the foyer, you're greeted by a hush that feels almost sacred. The floors are of polished oak, carrying the faint creak that speaks of age and authenticity. Light filters in through leaded glass windows, illuminating a rich tapestry of color along the walls. Soft cream paint accentuated by family portraits, artwork collected from her travels, and the occasional theatrical poster from Maggie's prolific career. Although one might expect piles of awards on display, she's won her share of them after all. They're actually tucked away in corners or carefully arranged on a single antique table near the staircase. Maggie is famously modest about her many accolades. She'd rather let her home speak of her life's passions and personal memories. From the foyer, a door to the left leads to a sitting room brimming with British charm. Plush sofas upholstered in floral fabrics invite you to sink in, while tall bookcases line the walls, holding everything from well-worn classics to scripts from Maggie's illustrious stage and screen roles. A delicate carved fireplace stands at one end of the room, its mantel adorned with a few framed photographs, friends, family, and snapshots from set visits. A small vase of fresh-cut flowers, likely gathered from the garden that very morning, brings a touch of color and fragrance to this intimate space. On quiet afternoons, Maggie can sometimes be found here with her cat dozing on her lap, a cup of tea at her side, and a novel or script open in her hand. There's a softness to this room that suggests it's a place to reflect, to savor a moment of stillness amid a life devoted to storytelling. Venture a bit further into the estate and you'll discover a more formal drawing room, reserved for special occasions and cherished visitors. The ceilings here are higher, the windows taller, and the furniture a graceful mix of antique English pieces and subtle modern touches. Rich tapestry drapes cascade from brass rods, framing the views of a garden just beyond. It's said that on certain quiet weekends, Maggie's closest friends, fellow actors, or longtime theater colleagues come for an evening of conversation and laughter. They might reminisce about filming Harry Potter into the wee hours, or share behind-the-scenes tales from stage productions at the National Theater. Although known for her sharp wit, Maggie values her privacy deeply, so these gatherings are always small and discreet, ensuring everyone feels at ease in this warm, welcoming environment. The heart of the home is the kitchen, a space that embodies both practicality and a gentle nod to country living. Weathered wooden beams run across the ceiling, contrasting beautifully with the polished flagstone floor. White cabinets, simple and unassuming, surround a central farmhouse table where Maggie often takes her morning tea or reads the newspaper. Copper pots hang from a rack overhead, and though she might not be a culinary enthusiast herself, she keeps a neat collection of cookbooks, some older than she is, stacked beside the impressive Aga cooker. The large window above the sink overlooks an herb garden where rosemary, thyme, and lavender grow in abundance. There's a sense that if you arrived unannounced on a lazy Sunday afternoon, you might find Maggie brewing tea or helping a friend prepare scones, the air sweet with the aroma of butter and sugar. Stepping out of the kitchen through a small side door, you enter the garden, a place of solitude that reveals another facet of Maggie's life. She's often spoken of her love for nature and flowers, and it shows in every corner here. Roses climb up trellises, their petals forming a watercolor palette against the old stone walls. A neat row of trimmed box hedges frames gravel paths that lead to hidden benches under the shade of ancient trees. Birdsong provides a soft soundtrack as you wander through beds of blooming foxgloves, daffodils in the spring, and clusters of hollyhocks in the summer. If you follow the winding path down a gentle slope, you'll come upon a koi pond where large orange and white fish lazily glide beneath the water's surface. On warmer days, Maggie sometimes reads outdoors, soaking up the rare English sunshine. Even a brief stroll here makes it evident why she treasures this retreat so dearly. It's a world away from the cameras and applause, a place to breathe. Heading back inside, we ascend a flight of stairs with an ornate banister, its patina telling tales of many generations passing by. Up on the second floor, you'll find a series of bedrooms designed for comfort rather than show. Maggie's own bedroom is tastefully understated. Soft hues of sage and cream, plush carpets, and a large bed adorned with crisp linens and a patchwork quilt. The windows offer views of both the front lawn and that enchanting garden below. Framed photographs stand atop the bedside tables, one of her sons from childhood days, another with dear friends from a theater production long ago, and yet another capturing a candid moment on the set of Downton Abbey. Anyone who's traveled extensively for work understands the longing for a peaceful haven, and this bedroom fulfills that need perfectly. A smaller adjacent room serves as her study, where the walls are lined with shelves of plays, books on acting, and scripts that chart her long, acclaimed career, from her earliest days on the West End stage to her Oscar-winning film roles and beyond. A well-worn leather chair faces a sturdy oak desk, often strewn with notes, letters, and the occasional bouquet of wildflowers. It's easy to picture her here, rereading lines or thoughtfully penning correspondence. While the study is certainly a place of reflection, it also carries a creative energy. Hints of projects in progress might be found in an open script or a stack of letters that bear the names of producers and directors. Every so often, a friend from the theater world might come by to discuss a new project, or simply to revel in the wisdom Maggie has garnered through decades of performing. One of the estate's most delightful spaces is the conservatory, a glass-walled nook at the rear of the house. Filled with potted tropical plants and delicate orchids, it's a warm, sunlit haven, even on a cool English morning. Comfortable wicker chairs and soft cushions invite visitors to rest a while, perhaps with a pot of Earl Grey or a light lunch. The atmosphere feels almost like stepping into a Victorian-era botanical garden, with the scent of moist soil and blossoming orchids filling the air. Maggie loves to host close friends here for afternoon tea, especially during the cooler months when the rest of the garden is asleep. It's not the place for grand parties. She much prefers intimate chats over a shared pot of tea, a plate of biscuits, and the company of those she holds dear. Should you explore deeper into the estate grounds, you may find a small guest cottage, its stone walls draped in moss and ivy. Once a humble gardener's cottage, it has been renovated to offer a cozy retreat for friends or family. Inside, it follows the same design principles as the main house, comforting, subtly luxurious, and imbued with old-fashioned English warmth. Visitors say it's the perfect spot to wake up to birds chirping, with a view of morning mist settling over the hills, all while knowing that a delightful breakfast awaits in the big house. Occasionally, Maggie has had fellow actors stay here, especially those who crave a weekend away from London's hustle. They rave about the privacy and the enchantment of wandering the estate after dusk, the moonlight illuminating the centuries-old stones. Despite her fame, Dame Maggie Smith is known to lead a life of modesty and introspection when she's not on set or stage. The estate might be a quiet place, but it has an understated elegance, a reflection of her refined taste and genuine love for traditional English sensibilities. She values the home's history and retains many original features, from the time-worn beams in the kitchen ceiling to the hand-painted tiles around the fireplaces. Yet it's the personal touches, a well-loved shawl draped over a chair, a half-finished crossword puzzle on a side table, that lend the estate its warmth, its sense of belonging. The estate is a fortress of calm amid a bustling industry that often craves spectacle. To Maggie, it is her sanctuary, a place where she can let the glamour and pressures of Hollywood fade into the background. If Downton Abbey or a new film role requires her presence in the city, she'll do what she must, but her heart is always drawn back to these time-worn stones and the gardens that whisper stories of yesteryear. Some say that over the years, this estate has seen its share of noteworthy guests, legends of stage and screen who arrived seeking Maggie's company, her guidance, or simply the restorative power of the countryside. Whispers abound of quiet Sunday luncheons with the likes of Judi Dench or Ian McKellen discussing Shakespeare or reminiscing about cherished roles. But you won't find flashy celebrity parties here. Everything is low-key, discreet, enveloped in the grace that Dame Maggie Smith herself embodies. So, what do you think? Does the idea of this peaceful estate surprise you? Or does it perfectly match what you'd imagine for the celebrated Dame Maggie Smith? Would you like to sip tea in her cozy conservatory or stroll through the rose garden at dusk? I'd love to know your thoughts, so feel free to share them. And if you've enjoyed this glimpse into a cherished hideaway, I'd be delighted if you subscribe for more stories behind the homes of beloved stars. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey. Until next time, may your own quiet sanctuary offer you the same warmth and solace that Maggie Smith has found in hers.